Let me. Call the roll.
Chairman Russo,
Here.
Commissioner Leone,
Here.
Commissioner Romick,
Here.
Commissioner Guidry,
Here.
Commissioner Frazier.
Here.
5 present and a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Being no old business before the commission today, we'll move on to the approval of minutes.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes from the meeting of February 25th, 2026.
We have a motion. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is adopted. Move on to change orders.
Chandrika Banks, on behalf of the Louisiana Tax Commission, today we have a total of 1,306 change orders. Staff has reviewed those change orders and requests to approve 1,271, place 33 in pending status, and deny 2. Staff requests approval of these change orders.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the 1,271 change orders and place 33 in pending status and deny 2 for reasons given by staff.
We have a motion. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, motion is adopted.
Chandrika Banks, on behalf of the Louisiana Tax Commission, today we have a total of 54 prior pending change orders. Staff has reviewed those change orders and requests to approve all 54. Staff requests approval of the prior pending change orders.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the 54 prior pending change orders that have staff has reviewed and requested for approval.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is adopted. All good. We'll move on to the consideration of the LTC decision in appeal of Marmac LLC. Mr. Hoffman?
So, Mr. Chairman, Drew Hoppin for the Tax Commission. Just a reminder, you all heard this matter. It's a personal property appeal back on October 8th. It was taken under advisement. Staff was instructed to place it on the agenda for this morning if the commission is prepared to enter a decision. If so, the chair can entertain a motion to make a ruling in that matter, and then a written decision will be issued consistent with that ruling.
Do I hear a motion from the commission?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to set the values for the assessment numbers as follows. Assessment number ending in 639, fair market value of $340,000. Assessment number 634, fair market value of $340,000. Assessment number ending in 640, $977,500. Assessment number 641, $977,500. And assessment number 620, $977,500.
Thank you, Commissioner Frazier. And just to note that these are the values that we have set in the new tables that were created, that were put into, that were adopted. So we have a motion. Is there any discussion from the commission? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is adopted. Tanisha?
Good morning, Tanisha Malvo on behalf of the Louisiana Tax Commission. Today we have received the 2026 Orleans Parish Millage Report for contributions to the state retirement system. The LTC is required to approve this report as it is a report that coincides with the tax roll filings and forwarded to the Louisiana Legislative Auditor upon our approval. Staff has reviewed this report and requests approval of the 2026 Orleans Parish Millage Report for contributions to the state retirement system.
Thank you. Is there any questions or discussion among the commission? Hear none, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the 2026 Orleans Parish Millage Report for the contributions to the state retirement systems.
We have a motion. Any discussion on the motion? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is adopted. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to appeals.
Good morning again. Drew Hoppin for Louisiana Tax Commission. If you'll be testifying in any of the appeal hearings on the docket for today, I'll have you stand up at your chair. I'm going to administer an oath. I'll then indicate to you individually to affirm the oath and to state your name. Appraisers, I'll take care of you next. For those of you in the room, please raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all may have a seat. Appraiser, same exercise. Looks like you're all unmuted. If you'll raise your right hands, I'll indicate to you individually to affirm the oath. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Nicole?
I do, Nicole Singley.
Luke?
Luke Brewer, I do.
George?
George Wallace, I do.
Josh?
Joshua Laverne, I do.
And Sandy?
Sandy Kennedy, I do.
Thank you. Very good, Chairman.
Thank you. We'll call the first appeal.
Okay, the first appeal we'll take up this morning is the appeal of Chris P. Kanalakis versus Assessor L.G. Williams in the Orleans Parish Board of Review, docket number 25221-73031.
All right, the first one's Chris Kanalakis.
Directly to the mic.
Okay. All right, on 1466 North White, Chris Kanalakis. My parents bought that house 65 years ago, and I still have it, which I'm fortunate to have. And my assessment has gone up more for the land than the building. The house has garages at the end, and they have a large yard in the back, which that's all I can do is cut grass. But, you know, because you can't get no access to it. You can't drive a vehicle back there or anything. And I'm in agreement with the state of Louisiana's assessment on it at 614. And then 1454 North White, I bought in 18. And
We're gonna do one in, we're gonna do one
okay,
in.
I'm sorry, sir. All right, Chairman, I apologize.
We'll hear from,
I'm in agreement with the state of Louisiana on their appraisal.
we'll hear from New Orleans Assessors Office. 14th.
Good morning, Gregory Miller for the Orleans Parish Assessors Office. We're looking at the property at 1466 North White Street. We originally had an appraisal with a value of $750,000. We went back and looked at that. We did revise the value based on the land being larger than a typical lot. Our appraised value did come in very similar to the Board of Review's value of $664,100, and that's the our prayer is asking for the value to be upheld by the Board of Review of $664,100.
Thank you. Questions from the commission?
So we're doing the,
Chris Kanalakis.
The six-
66 North
so-
White.
okay, we call the, it looks like y'all are on two different ones. So are you're in agreement with the,
I'm in agreement with the 614 with the state of Louisiana?
Yeah, we're on 1464,
Right, that's
66 North White Street.
Right.
so
Right.
for the record, that's docket number 25221-73032, the appeal of White Street LLC.
Well, any questions from the commission on this one? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to,
Greg, I apologize. We'll hear from Nicole. Nicole, I apologize. I'm skipping around. We all mixed up today. We're in different place here, so, but we'll
I
hear from
see
Nicole
that.
Singley, the LTC appraiser.
Good morning, everyone. Nicole Singley, Louisiana Tax Commission appraiser. Just to make sure I'm on the right track, are we still on -032 or y'all hopping to 031?
No,
What?
on 032.
Got it. Okay. So
No, we're
032.
on 3-1. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Now 3-2? Okay. I'm sorry.
Which one y'all want me to talk about?
3-2.
3-2. Okay. So let's see. Okay, hold on one second. Let me swap my file because I had the 3-1 ready. I apologize here. Let's see. 3-2. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's see. Yes, I appraise property located at 1464-66 North White Street. I completed both an exterior and interior site visit. At the time of site visit, it was found to be in average condition. Let's see here. I completed both the sales comparison approach to value and the income approach, arriving at estimated opinion of market value of $614,000, $353,000 to the land, $261,000 to the improvement.
Okay, thank you, Nicole.
You're
Questions
welcome.
from the commission?
Mr. Chair, I have a question for the assessor's office. So hearing that you reduced the value, it appears that the 2024 and 2025 certified values were 716,500 per the assessor's website. So that's your adjustment down to what you're asking for, the 664,100 because of the land?
That was the Board of Review's decision that we're looking at 664,100.
But what are you asking for, the
Board
664,100?
Review's decision to be held up.
Any other questions from the commission? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to go with what the assessor is asking for, which is the Parish Board of Review. Land at 353,000, improvements at 311,100.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, motion is adopted.
Okay. Now we'll jump back to the appeal of Chris P. Kanalakis, docket number 25221-73031. Address is 1453-56 North White Street.
Mr. Kinlock? 1454, I bought, it's next door, same size land just about, and same size buildings. I live in the back house of 1454 and a half North White. That's my home. I bought it in 18 for $635, and it got up to $1 million, 900 and something past few years, and I've been going to the and trying to get it down every year for the local. That's why I decided to come this year to the state. And it's the same thing now. I'm paying more for land than the buildings. And they went up on the land about 4 years ago on both of these properties, maybe 5 years ago. And it's like, you know, they're trying to price you out of the neighborhood or something. You go and appeal and they say, well, people from New York will buy your property for that kind of price. And, you know, I've lived there all my life. I don't want to, you know, be forced to sell because the property tax and I mean, now with insurance and things, you know, the insurance got up as high as 18,000. The property tax got as high as 92 in the past, but I've been able to get the insurance down on that one. The other one, I have never had a problem with the insurance increasing.
What value are you requesting?
What the state came up with, 756 is what I believe what the appraiser of the state of Louisiana came up with.
Okay, thank you. We'll hear from the New Orleans Assessor's Office.
Yes, good morning, Gregory Miller for the Orleans Parish Assessor's Office. This one was very similar. It had a large lot for the area. We originally had appraised it for $975. We did do a revision on that as well. Came up with a value of $819,000 based on the reduced adjustment for lot sizes. We're just, again, the Board of Review lowered it to $760,000. We're just asking that the $760,000 for the Board of Review decision be upheld. Yes.
Can you give us those numbers?
Breakdown? Yes, sir. It's 438.7 for the land, 321.3 for the building, for the improvements.
From the
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, are you ready for me to go?
Yeah, we're back on the 145456 North White Street.
Yes, sir.
031.
Okay, perfect. So yes, I did complete the interior and exterior site visit on this property. Let's see here. We did the sales comparison approach as well as the income approach to value, arriving at a fair market value of $756,000, $438,700 to the land, $317,300 to the improvement.
Thank you, Nicole. Questions from
welcome.
the commission? Is that for me to, a question? I just can't understand why my land is more than the physical buildings. I mean, there's nothing I can do with the land but cut it every week. With
The problem with land, it's going to be a uniform value. So whatever's set, the city is doing its best to keep the land uniform. That's why it went up, and that's why it kind of continues to.
I understand. Thank you, sir. Chairman.
Okay, if no questions from the commission, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to set the total value at 760,000. That's 438,700 for the land, 321,300 for the improvement.
Okay, we have a motion. Any discussion on the motion? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is adopted.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Was your father the one that would go first down, Romick?
No, sir, that was my uncle, my
Oh, yeah,
dad's younger brother.
Meet y'all. Thank you very much for your help.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
The next appeal we'll take up is the appeal of Ali Jazar versus Assessor Earl G. Williams in the Orleans Parish Board of Review, docket number 25221-76001.
If you come in, since I swore everyone in at the beginning, I'll have them stand up and administer an oath to you. I'll indicate you individually to affirm the oath and have you state your name. So if you'll both raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Your name? Neil Morris.
Aye, usually I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
Okay, sir, you can go ahead.
Uh, Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I appreciate the opportunity to come here again. I was here, full disclosure, last year and had presented my case, but you had decided against me at that time. Since that time, I have again appealed today, sir. The conditions that were last mentioned last year still stand as is, but there were some other things that have affected this year, which I'd like to point out to you in brief. Since last year, there has been a further deterioration of the property. The construction on the street has caused the cracks and all on my property, sir, as on Dart as well as on Vincennes, and has caused a lot of foundation problems. This has been verified by appraisals, by inspections, and even by the inspection by the tax commission. Further, I'd like to state that the comparative values that have been noted in the assessment here are again out of bounds of that area. Each block of Vincennes between Wormsley and Dart is different, and each area, so if you take a concentric area of the property values, that is not applicable to the block that I live in. Further, if you look at the tax assessment of my particular block, you will find that my property alone has been inordinately listed at a higher value than every other property, single or otherwise, on that same block, and that is on record, sir. Further, the new independent appraisal that I got done at my own level was at a 380,000 as an appraisal. And this was an independent appraisal in October of last year. And then finally, Mr. Joshua Tax Commission appraisal inspection came over, and they came up with the inspection as well as the assessment, which is much lower than what has been appraised by the tax commission, by the tax assessor in New Orleans. It was 500 something, but the tax commission, Mr. Joshua's tax commission appraisal assessment came at 425. I was asking for 380, and I would like the board to kindly consider and give me some relief on this.
Thank you. We'll hear from New Orleans Assessor's Office.
Gregory Miller, Orleans Parish Assessor's Office. We had seen this property before for the 2024 tax commission hearings. There was a decision rendered at that time for the value of $504,000. We have not received any new information for differences in the property. Therefore, we were requesting the value to be upheld that was originally decided at 504,000.
Okay, thank you. We'll hear from Josh, LTC appraiser.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners. Joshua Laverne, LTC appraiser. The subject property, 4210 Vincent's Place, had a previous ruling. However, new information and documentation was presented by the taxpayer for this year's appeal that changed my appraisal from the previous year. Upon inspection and review of the documents, it was my opinion that the property is in fair condition. Sales comparison approach produced a value of $425,000 with 58,100 attributed to the land and 366,900 to the improvement.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Questions from the commission?
Mr. Laverne, I have a question, if you don't mind. On your latest inspection, was that an interior as well as exterior?
Correct. Interior inspection was performed by Region Supervisor.
And what was the differences noted between the previous, if you have that?
The previous condition rating that I gave the property was average, and this year I changed it to fair.
Okay. Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, for Mr. Miller, the notations that we have that the appraisal was reviewed on December of 25, in December 25.
Yes.
Was that an inspection, exterior inspection as well at that
Yeah.
time?
Yes, we had no other information via open roll or anything else that there was any condition difference in the property.
Okay, and the Board of Review, I assume this came before the Board of Review and the condition of the streets and such was taken into consideration.
Yeah, they made no change.
Any additional questions from the commission?
I have a question for the tax commission staff appraisal. Did I read correctly? Is the property been renovated or under renovation?
It's currently under renovation.
Okay, thank you. And to the taxpayers, your property being renovated?
Yes, sir, the property has been renovated, but may I be permitted to say that when Mr. Joshua's team came over, they inspected what damage was done. I have to renovate it because there was a foundation issues and all that. The team that came in, they came inside, they went under the house, they looked at the foundation damage, they have the photographs, they've looked at inside the house, on the floorings, etc., and all damage that I'm trying to repair so that I can live it. It's not livable right now. I've moved out of the house, so it's not livable, so I am renovating it. Yes, I am.
When your personal appraisal happened, was it being renovated then?
No, sir, it was in its original form. At that time, it was not being renovated.
Okay, that's why I was trying to, because your personal appraisal that you're going with says there's been no renovations.
Yes, sir.
But your property is being renovated right now, so that appraisal is not kind of going against what you got going on there. So
Yeah, that
I
was-
just wanted to clear that.
Yeah, that was the original appraisal, but
Thank you.
when the tax commission from Mr. Joshua came, it was in disrepair, and they saw that. Thank you.
Mr. Gidget, question?
Yes, for the taxpayer. Is there an amount that you're looking at right now for the renovations that you're making?
Yes, sir. I'm looking at the amount where I have got some estimates on it, and it's about 30 to 40,000.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any additional questions? Hear none, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'm gonna make a motion to stay where we were at on our last decision at 504,000. That's 58,100 on the land, 445,900 on the improvement for 504,000.
Okay, we have a motion. Any discussion on the motion? Any objection to the motion?
Mr. Chair, I'm going to ask Commissioner Fraser to read those amounts again. I heard land at 58,100, improvements at 446,400.
445,900.
We had 504 with improvement values 445, 900.
Have a motion by Mr. Frazier that sets the value at 58,100, 446, 400 on the improvements for a total value of 504, 500. Okay, any discussion on the motion? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is adopted.
So we'll move back up the docket to item A on the agenda, which is the appeal of Lincoln Grove One LLC, docket number 25221-72002.
If it pleases the commission, I apologize about going out of order. Oh, sorry. If it pleases the commission, I apologize about going out of order. I spoke with Mr. Morris, the property owner, for items number D and E, and he has agreed to withdraw his appeal, so I just wanted to make the commission aware of that. Yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioners, my name is Neil Morris. I am the managing member of the general partner of Opportunity Homes Limited Partnership, the entity that developed this property and also the other two owned by Lincoln Grove. They are now owned by Lincoln Grove One LLC, a successor entity. These are the exact same properties that were the subject of the Louisiana Supreme Court's decision in Williams v. Opportunity Homes. I signed, it's not just saying precedent should apply. These are the exact buildings and it's the same regulatory agreement. I signed the tax credit regulatory agreement. These properties remain rent restricted, LIHTC housing. The extended use period runs through December 31st, 2036. Nothing has changed about the restricted nature of these properties since the Supreme Court decided that case in 2018. The Supreme Court in Williams held that the income approach was the correct valuation method for these properties and rejected Assessor Williams's use of the market approach. The commission's own staff appraiser has now appraised these properties using the income approach, the same methodology the Supreme Court endorsed, and values them all three together at a combined 671,300. And for case 002, which is 92527 North Dorgenois, the staff appraisal came in at 240,700 as opposed to the assessor's value of 411,000. We asked the commission to adopt the staff appraisals.
Okay, we'll hear from New Orleans Assessor's Office.
Good morning, David Mejia, Orleans Parish Assessor's Office. This is a little complicated situation. We have been trying to get in touch with Mr. Morris for well over 2 or 3 years now. The last regulatory agreement we have ended in December 31st of 2021. The property transfer for Opportunity Homes to this is Lincoln Grove. There were several different transfers, but to Lincoln Grove in December 22. We have no audited financials. We have no regulatory agreement other than the one ended in 21 showing that these are still under the LIHTC. We've requested it. I'm surprised he's here because we've contacted this office, I don't know how many times, trying to get in touch with people. So that makes it a little bit complicated on our end because we have removed that LIHTC status from our office due to the lack of documentation received and due to the lack of communication from the property owner. With that being said, what makes this complicated is that we have a ruling from last year that accounted for this as a LIHTC property, and the ruling was for 264,600. So I kind of want to dig my heels in, but I understand that just precedent we may have to live to fight another day on this one, being that going forward, and until we get documentation, we're not going to be considering this a low-income housing tax credit property. So just that's for the record, and some of these other ones will be very similar arguments as well. So as of now, the tax commission ruled last year on 925 North Durgeon Lot, 264,600 minus the 112,200. That would be 112,200 for the land and 152,400 for the building, for a total of 264,600. It's a difficult situation because it was ruled on and there's a lot of moving parts there. Yeah.
We'll hear from the LTC appraiser, Sandy.
Good morning. I appraised the property, at 925 and 927 North Dorganjois Street. And I did the income approach because this is a rent restricted property. And my total was 240,700. And there was a disputed land value. So I did a land appraisal, which brought the land in at 132,000. And that left the improvement value of 108,700.
Okay, questions from the commission?
Mr. Chair, I have a question for Ms. Kennedy. Ms. Kennedy, you said that it's a rent restricted. What evidence do you have that says that that restriction is still in place at this lien date?
I had received documentation to that effect.
You had received that from Mr. Morris or a representative?
The representative, Tina.
Thank you. Mr. Morris? So it's been said by the assessor's office that you have not responded to them, but Ms. Tina has responded to Ms. Kennedy with evidence that this restriction is still in place?
Yes, and I'll also point out to the commissioners that one part that is not moved is the holding and the decision in Williams, and also the tax credit regulatory agreement. The tax credit regulatory agreement is unchanged. It is the same document, and that document has always said that the rent restriction runs through December 31st, 2036. And that regulatory agreement is part of the public record, as both in the Williams holding and in the conveyance office. That absolutely is not a document that has to be updated with Assessor Williams' office on a year-to-year basis.
So, Mr. Morris, have you just decided not to respond because it is public record?
No, that's not it at all. There are quite a few properties that we no longer own, that we still get relentless calls from the assessor's office to contact them, and they typically don't say what they're calling about. It's whoever's assigned that day, and they say, give us a call about property. Well, the majority of properties we don't own anymore. So absent in response to this exactly, staff was not calling them back, but whether it was given to Ms. Kennedy by one of the staff members, or whether it's public record, that's not, I mean, it is. It's just, it's there, and it's still binding.
I just have a question, Mr. Chairman. Just, I guess, going forward, is there a means that you can keep in touch with Mr. David about those arrangements? Because, I mean, it's beneficial to you all, also with the communication lines with the tax appraiser, New Orleans, to kind of keep those lines of communications open, and I think that that's something that your office should make an effort in doing in the near future.
Mr. Guidry and the Commissioners, Chairman, I'm no attorney. And what Mr. Morris says, and it's true in the sense of the regulatory agreement said it's for opportunity homes. Whether or not there's an umbrella that carries on to any future entity is beyond my pay grade. On top of that, though, their audited financials are required, and those are not provided either. So,
Well, the TCRA was recorded in Orleans Parish and it runs with the land. So the same regulatory agreement that say it runs with the land and binds successors from 2018 is the regulatory agreement that says it runs with the land today. And as far as an income statement, that is actually, I mean, our experience with the assessor's office is it doesn't matter what the tax commission says on a year-to-year basis. They still reject it every year and stick their own high appraisal on it regardless. And we're forced to do this every year. So my understanding is the assessor was using those numbers, and that's how the appraiser was using those numbers, and that's how the appraiser this year came up with, using the income approach, came up with the staff appraisal numbers that are listed in your report.
Okay, I'm gonna give you both a piece of advice. Through communication, all things are possible. In the future, y'all need to talk to each other because seems like everybody's got their heels dug in. You don't have a document that may be a public record. You're not providing it to them, even though that may affect your tax bill. So regardless of what we do this year, I expect y'all to communicate next year. I'm gonna strongly encourage you to communicate so that we're not doing this just back and forth. He said, especially if we're talking about public records and stuff like that. So any other questions from the commission?
Mr. Chair, I would just echo that and say if audited financial statements are required and they are not being provided, that's not a good look on the owner's side.
Okay, any other questions from the commission? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair, I call for a motion to set the value at $264,600, which is $112,200 land, improvement $152,400. And you're very right, they need to communicate a little bit better.
We have a motion. Any discussion on the motion? Any objection to the motion? Motion is adopted.
Next, we'll take up the appeal of Lincoln Grove 1, docket number 25221-77003.
Everything that I just said, except for also in the future, we will communicate better with the assessor's office.
Okay, New Orleans Assessor's Office.
yes, good morning. Once again, David Mejia, Orleans Parish Assessor's Office. This is a similar situation. The difference on this one, and just to coin in on what you were saying, Chairman Roussel, I have made personal visits to their office. I have emailed, I've got in touch with several people. There's been no response. So we're trying to open those channels. What's happened in the past, I'm not sure of. Me going forward, David Mejia has attempted several times to communicate with this entity with no results. So on the, we're on 003. Okay, so the only difference on this one is that this property actually was a renovated property with an addition. And so once again, I'm kind of caught in a little bit of a bag because we have a value of this property at $172,900 that I don't believe really captured the additional square footage or the renovation of this property. And once again, we're not counting it as LIHTC because we never received anything to communicate it as LIHTC. And so the difference between this one is that there was a full renovation and an addition on the next two. But with that being said, the tax commission did rule on this at $172,900, and I think this may be something that may reappear again in the future. But at this point in time, I don't want to dig my heels in too hard on this, but I feel like the value is incorrect personally, but since there was a ruling out there, we'll live to fight another day on that one. At that point, the ruling at $172,900 gave the land at $36,000 and the building at $172,900 for $172,900.
Okay. We'll hear from the LTC appraiser.
I appraised that property at 1923 and 25 Eagle Street. And my total value using the income approach was 220,400. A disputed land value, so I did a land appraisal, which came in at 96,000, and an improvement that left an improvement value of 124,400.
Sir, you wanted to say something?
Yep, I will point out that the appearance at the tax commission is not the first opportunity that the assessor's office has to hear about these things. We, at the board of review level, everything that I'm saying right now, as far as the tax credit regulatory agreement and that being introduced into the record, all of those things are said at the board of review level. So to say that at this point that we don't know, we didn't know this was a tax credit, it's slightly disingenuous, because these things that I'm saying right now are the same things that we say at the board of review level. The holding of in Williams v. Opportunity Homes clearly distinguishes and says that the income approach is the only viable method, not the sales comparable approach. So the fact that a addition was done to the property does nothing to ameliorate or mitigate the methodology that's required for the appraisal, which is what the staff appraisal is doing, is using the correct methodology.
Okay. Questions from the commission?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we go with the parish assessor's appraisal at 172,900, with the land being at 36,000, with the improvements at 1,036,900.
I have a motion. Any discussion on the motion? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is adopted.
Next, we have the appeal of Lincoln Grove 1, docket number 25-221-77005.
Same thing.
Yep. This is essentially the same property, it's identical property, and the methodology of a LIHTC property is recognized as income approach. Where the disconnect is that we're not the board of review. Information given to the board of review, given to the tax commission, isn't the Orleans Parish Assessor's Office. And the channels of communication should be open to us, and we should be awarded the opportunity to review those things. They were not given to us. I've made several calls, several visits with none. So it's to say disingenuous on our part is pretty rich. With this being said, this property is the same as the other. At 172,900, the values would be exactly the same.
We'll hear from the LTC appraiser. Sandy?
I did appraise their property at 1913 and 15 Eagle Street, and I used the income approach to value. I came in at 210,200 with a disputed land value of 90. So I did the land appraisal, which came in at 96,000, and the improvement value of 114,200.
Thank you, Sandy. Questions from the commission?
Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and go with the parish assessor's value at 1,072,900 for the land at 36,000, for improvements at 136,900.
We have a motion. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is adopted. I strongly encourage you to talk to each other in the future. I get that, David, y'all don't have what you need. Sir, I get that you're not required or may not be required. I will tell you, me personally, if it made a difference in my tax bill, if the assessor wanted it on pink, blue, or purple paper, I'd get the pink, blue, and purple paper. I do everything I can to avoid situations like this. So thank you both.
I don't know that one anymore. You don't, okay. So I can withdraw it. Whether it's denied or whether I draw it makes no difference to me. I don't own the property anymore, so.
Please note for the record that item K on the agenda will be withdrawn. That's appeal of project renew, docket number 2522177012.
Agree to that, or you?
I don't own it anymore. Yes, I just withdrew it.
Move to the next.
Okay. With that being said, we'll move to the appeal of First Community Service LLC, docket number 2522176003. And there's no more taxpayers for today.
From New Orleans Assessors Office.
Morning again, Gregory Miller, Orleans Parish Assessors Office. Property address 4114 Constant Street. Our original value was $430,000. The Board of Review made a reduction to $400,000, which was very similar to our independent appraisal at 402. We're just asking that the Board of Review's value of $400,000 be upheld.
Okay, we'll hear from the LTC appraiser, Nicole.
Yes, I did appraise the property located at 4112-14 Constant Street. I completed an exterior and interior site visit of the property. Let's see here. The sales comparison approach to value was completed. Opinion of fair market value, $359,000, $120,800 to the land, $238,200 to the improvement.
Thank you, Nicole. Questions from
welcome.
the commission? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair, I call for a motion to accept the 400,000 price, which is the land of $120,800, improvements $279,200, total of 400,000.
Do we have a motion? Any discussion on the motion? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is adopted.
Okay, our final appeal of the morning is the appeal of Kirk Bouchard, docket number 2522177024.
We'll hear from no taxpayer present, so we'll hear from the New Orleans Assessors Office.
Good morning, David Mahir, Orleans Parish Assessor's Office. This is 1940 Fern Street. This property was heard in 2024, was appealed in 2024, excuse me. The taxpayer at that point settled at a value of $444,000. That value has remained the same for 25, 26, and that value was affirmed by the Board of Review. Tax commission's at 431. We're at 444 originally. All the values are fairly close, being that the taxpayer has agreed to this in 2024 and signed a settlement. We're just asking for that value to be affirmed again. 96,300 on the land, 347,700 on the building, for a total of 444,000.
Okay, thank you, David. We'll hear from Nicole Singley, Tax Commission appraiser.
Yes, sir. I did complete an interior and exterior inspection of the property at 1940 Fern Street. The sales comparison approach as well as income was completed. Estimated opinion of market value is $431,000. Land, $96,300. Improvement value, $334,700.
Okay, questions from the commission? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to set the total value at 444,000. That's 96,300 for the land, 347,700 for the improvement.
Okay, we have a motion. Any discussion on the motion? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is adopted. Okay, is there any other business to come before the commission today? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, I call for a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any objection? Hearing none, motion is adopted. We are adjourned at